Welcome to AFL Uncensored. I'm your host, Tej Johannesson, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Omari Fraser. Omari, on today's pre-show chatter, I want to talk about something a little personal to me and my team with the Bucks. So we have a guy on our team. His name is John Roach. He's played for a number of years on the Bucks and won a championship with us in 2021, and is a really good dude and is a peace officer and a really good teammate and a really good friend. And he's unfortunately come down with some health issues, and so I'm not going to go too much into it. But I do want to say that there's a GoFundMe set up. I will have that link in the description of this video. I'll read something just quickly for everyone. So this is from the GoFundMe page. It says, I'm putting this fundraiser together to help some pretty amazing people. John was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis when he was 18, and it was a long, scary road for him. He spent months in the hospital where he almost died. John has been in remission for many years now, but he's having a very bad flare-up that is rapidly getting worse. John went from 264 to 223 in the span of a couple of months. He is now barely able to walk across the store or do daily activities without getting lightheaded. And he cannot work right now, and he's exhausted all his EI days. So there is a GoFundMe. He's got a wife and a kids and a home. And I know John personally. I've played with him for a number of years, and I actually didn't know about this health issue because he's been just a really shining light, and he's super athletic, and so he's just a beast of a man. So to hear that he's struggling to even move is heartbreaking. So as a community, as AFL, I mean, hopefully this podcast can help with a number of things, but hopefully can help him here. So that link, if you want to even donate $5 and help out a fellow AFL brother who's going through a tough time, I know I'd really appreciate that, and Omari, I'm sure you would too.
Absolutely. In these moments, the AFL has a very strong reputation of coming together and doing great things. And I know people are in different situations, and give what you can, and paying it forward. I feel like that's a big thing here now, where I'm sure people would love to help out more in different ways and do what you can, and it all comes around in the end.
It totally does.
And we want to wish the best for speedy recovery to the gentleman here, and health is wealth in especially as you get older. So all the best, and hoping things go well, and all the right pieces come together for him to get back on the field and get everything back to where you want it.
Yeah. So John, I know you're listening, and so we're thinking about you. I'm thinking about you, and we'll come together and hopefully we'll see you out on the field soon. And for everyone that doesn't know, John went from he was a beast of a D-line to playing a little bit of running back last year for the Bucks and doing a really good job. So we wish you well, John, and we're here to help. So please, we'll put the link in the profile. If you guys can help him out a little bit, that'd be appreciated by everyone. All right, let's get into it. Today I'm really excited. This is a cool one for me. For a number of reasons. But we're doing the Calgary Wolfpack season preview. And we've got three great guests with us. Omari, I'll actually get you to do the introduction since this is kind of your team. So I'll kind of give it up to you and take it away.
Yeah, so definitely excited to be here with this, because I know it's been weeks on weeks to hear other teams and how they're building things up. But definitely excited to have Daryl on, Sherman, and Josh. Definitely some key guys on our team that we're looking forward to bringing together the 2023 season. I know there's a lot of things have moved around, and there's a lot of talk and this and that, and I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully fleshing that out and just getting some other voices out there, which is huge. But Daryl, Sherm, Josh, have you guys come and say hi, and we want to let's dive into this, because I feel me as well being a Wolfpack player, it's something too where it's awesome to have these guys together, and I think it's time we let the league know what we're cooking up here in a bit, and it's nice to hear some other voices.
Perfect. So let's start with Daryl. I think we have to start, and before you go, Daryl, I'll just say, having played against you for a number of years, it was a pleasure to be able to actually be on the other end of the ball and play with you last year. And I'm really excited to have you on this podcast and to tell us some good stuff. So first off, Daryl, thank you for being here, and kind of go into your football story and what brought you in the AFL and what brought you here. Daryl, you might be muted. This is going to be a phone thing. Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. So if you're on your phone, if your phone screen goes blank, it will mute.
Okay.
So
I don't know if that time's out or not. Okay.
Yeah, so just time's out. So yeah, just go ahead. I'll edit that out. So just go ahead and and start with your story.
Okay. Well, thanks, Teach. Thanks for having me. It was great playing with you last year as well, especially after playing against you for the last 10 or 15 years. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite at my best last year fighting that injury net, and I wish I could have got you the ball a little bit more. But going forward, I think I'm going to be better this year, and we look forward to playing against you on the field. So I'll just jump into my football history here a little bit. Now, most people know, but some people might not. I played 5 years high school football, won 2 provincial championships. I then went on to play for the Regina Rams. We won 3 national championships, and I was a 3-time MVP there. Out of the Regina Rams, I then signed with the Edmonton Eskimos in 1996, and I made the team as their third-string quarterback. I ultimately ended up turning that down and going on to playing university football. I played for the Dinos for 3 years, was an all-Canadian quarterback there with the Dinos. And then in 2000 and 2001, when the Regina Rams entered CIS football, I had the opportunity to go back there and play for them. And it was great to play for my old teammates and take them back to this Vanier Cup in only their second year. Since then, I've been playing in the Alberta Football League, where I'm a 4-time national champion with the Calgary Wolfpack and a 10-time league MVP. So that's kind of my background here.
Yeah, and so what year did you enter the AFL?
1999 was my first year. When I was done playing with the Dinos, I was looking for a home to keep playing for a year until I decided what was next for me. And someone from the Jason Novikowski, who was playing for the Calgary Wolfpack, called me up and asked me if I wanted to come home and play for them. So that was the first I kind of learned about the AFL. And like I said, been playing with them nonstop since.
Yeah, literally nonstop. Like I guess there was that 1 year with the Gators or whatever that was, but yeah, pretty much. Awesome. Thanks, Daryl. Sherman, off to you.
Hey, first off, yeah, thanks for having us on, guys. Really appreciate it. Again, thoughts and prayers out to John and his family, and yeah, make sure everybody that we check out the GoFundMe there. Yeah, thanks again for having us. We about time you got to us. You had Kurt Howland and Ryan Beller was on before we got on. I don't know. My legal team has some things for us to put a spin on the Ryan said, but that's okay. We'll get to those. I'm kidding.
No,
Ryan's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I my first year playing actual tackle football was same as everybody listening, 1981. And so I was with the Markham Marauders, and then I ended up going to BC after playing some high school in Ontario, then played high school in BC. So when I moved to Alberta, that was the first time I actually played 3-down football. Because all the kids stuff and high school stuff in Ontario and BC is 4 downs. All the other rules are the same. But yeah, and I've been with the Wolfpack since '93, and it's been just an incredible ride. Countless memories and countless bus trips all over Alberta. It's been great watching the league grow. When I first joined the league, believe it or not, there was only 3 teams. There was 2 in Calgary, and no, the football wasn't round and our helmets weren't leather, but close. But yeah, so we had 2 teams in Calgary and 1 in Red Deer. Red Deer was our big road trip, and believe it or not, this will sound hilarious now, but we actually sometimes would stay over in Red Deer because that was a big trip. So we'd go and stay over at night after the game in Red Deer. Yeah, it was a whole hour and a half away. How could you drive back after that?
Yeah, anyway, to have your road trip moments, right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's when it was the Red Deer Sooners and all that. But yeah, similar to Daryl, we won some provincials before Daryl joined us, but I think I've won the AFL 13 times, I think, and then same as Daryl, 4 national championships, and it's just been great. It's just a fantastic league, and yeah, so we're excited for the season.
Were any of those, and I was trying to remember this the other day, were any of those national championships, were any of those on the road that you won?
Yeah, Daryl helped me out here, but we won, let's see, the first one we won was out there in 2000. No, well,
in
the
Winnipeg
first one was in
2000.
99. Yeah,
99.
well, we won in 99. That was in Winnipeg. Yep, that was 99.
Wait, who'd you play in Winnipeg? Was there a Winnipeg team?
Well, yeah, they had sort of a different balance there. We kind of met in the middle. We were playing the Sault Ste. Marie Storm.
Oh, so it was still the Ontario League you were playing.
It was still Ontario, but we just decided to kind of meet halfway.
Huh.
So, yeah, and then so that was on the road, and then remind me, Daryl, 03 was on the road, and then I think the last two were at home. No, sorry, 3 of the 4 were on the road.
I feel like I think 08 was on the road for you. Did you win in 08 or was it 07?
Yeah, 08 was at home. We beat.
Okay.
Yeah, 08 was at home.
Yeah.
Tri-City, right, Daryl? Yeah.
Tri-City, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So 99, 03, and 05 were actually on the road. So we were at Winnipeg Stadium, and then we were in. Oh, where were we? I forget. Wherever the Hawkeyes play. Where do they play? Burling? I forget. Anyways, and then the 05 game was at Iverwin Stadium.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So because I was trying to figure out. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if an AFL team had ever won on the road. So that's sweet. So you guys would probably be the only one then, because I can't find another team that's actually won on the road. So that's pretty sweet. All right, Josh, up to you, big man.
What's up, guys? My name's Josh E. That's a funny intro. My name's Josh E. I'm one of the big boys for the Wolfpack. I play O-line, whatever Sherman needs, whatever Daryl needs. And as for me and first of all, my thoughts and prayers to his name's John, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, John, I'll be praying for you, buddy. I work currently. I'm an interim pastor at a church here in BC. Be praying for you. And so, yeah, back to football. Played 1 year with the Wolfpack last year. Excited for another year. And yeah, back to my story. A little weird one. I'm from Forest Lawn, and I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Forest Lawn, but it's a little bit of a
Titans.
rougher parts of Calgary. And I went in there, little 14-year-old Josh E. Coming out of Ernest Morrow middle school. I don't know, like I've been in BC. We call it middle school here for the past year a little bit, and wanted to go play tight end. I was 5'2". I was 5'2". I walked up to Jamie LeVay-Condon from the Forest Lawn Titans and went, "I want to play tight end."
Was there a specific reason for that? Were you a Gronk fan, or what was it?
Oh, I love Gronk. That's why I'm a Patriots fan.
That doesn't, that doesn't surprise me at all that you're a Gronk fan. Knowing you that after being your teammate for a year, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That checks out.
But yeah, I wanted to play tight end at 5'2", and they were like, "No." But I spent the whole summer leading up, training, running routes. Like, I also wanted to play football. I just wanted the rock, bro.
Yeah.
But I get there, and they're like, "You'll play middle linebacker and guard," and I'm like, "What?" But I fell in love with the game. Long story short, I fell in love with blocks. I fell in love with reading plays. I fell in love with blowing it up. And then I go and I play spring league. You guys like spring league football in Alberta? Like, yeah, like I play. It used to be midget. I play midget, and like I'm like sitting on the bench as a third string linebacker because I run like a 6'2" 40. And it's like, what am I doing? And I get back to high school, and my head coach is just like, "You're not a linebacker, Josh." And I'm like, "What? I spent all this time training, blah, blah, blah." And you're not a linebacker. So grade 11 rolls around. I move on to the senior team, and I'm playing defensive tackle and right tackle. And I'm going, what is going on? I'm like 5'6" at this point, 210 pounds. And our quarterback was left-handed. So I'm our blind side tackle. And I'm like, this is a vibe. This is fun. Got to play some 3-tech though. Then that year I did not play spring league, and went to a bunch of different camps. Went to CFA. Have you guys ever heard of the Canadian Football Academy?
Yep.
Got sent to CFA. Got sent to all these different camps. Did a bunch of different things, and then grade 12 rolls around, and man, let me tell you guys the story. So I've been if you guys know me, I'm a gym rat. Okay, like I've been in the gym, like with my personal trainer. Shout out to my boy Cody Hawkins. Little G, certified G.
Hey, Cody better sponsor this. Cody better sponsor this podcast if we're giving shout outs like that. I don't know.
I love that guy. He's like a father figure to me. Mentor.
Heads up, we're looking for sponsors. Okay, keep going.
And like, so I would work out with him after like every practice. You know, I'd be at the gym. I'd be working out with the junior A Mounties of it's a junior A lacrosse team that he coaches, and he'd squeak me in there for free because I was a broke kid from Forest Lawn. But other than that, my high school football coach, Jamie LeVay-Con, used to make me, like, he would find ways to get me into his sports performance class. And I'd be on that treadmill for 30 minutes straight at 6.5. He's like, you need to work on your aerobic and lactic pyramid system, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, he's like, if you want to be a linebacker for me, that's what you got to do. And I was like, okay. And, like, if you know me, like, I will do anything to get that bag. Like, when I want something, I go and get it. So you bet your monkey butts that I hopped on that treadmill and ran like my life depended on it. Why? Because I wanted to play linebacker, bro. And so grade of 12.
Monkey butts is definitely the pastor's version of some sort of swear word. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
Dude, I have kids who follow me, so I'm
containing
it, right? I work in ministry, so I can't swear anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm on that treadmill. I want to play linebacker. Spring camp rolls around. I get thrown on the edge, and I'm like, why am I playing the edge? But okay, I read this read option so well. I bait him into keeping the ball, and I blow up the play. I bait the quarterback into keeping the ball, and I blow up the play. And he's like, "You're gonna play defensive end," and I'm like, "But I wanted to play Mac." They're like, "You want to play, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll play." I've always been a yes coach guy, so I'm like playing defensive end, sucking it up. Fell in love with it, man. I love defensive end. Probably one of my favorite positions I've ever played. Played some D end, and obviously started on the other side of the ball too. Started at guard. And then, and so I got to a point where it's like, what do I want to do with my life? And the only other thing because, you know, when you get to grade 12, you got to figure out what you kind of want to do. And the only thing I really loved doing was running this youth alpha, which is it's basically a Bible study. I used to run like a Bible study at Forest Lawn in the lunches. And I want to be a pastor. So I had this whole plan. I was going to stay home, play Colts, go to Bible college there. But long story short, that doesn't work out. And after grade 12 season ends, the only thought I have is I had a coach who knew the Langley Rams coach out here in BC.
Mm-hmm. Was that Howie's Aaron?
Yeah.
My boy Howie. Howie and I go way back. Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to BC. I apply to a Bible college near Langley, and the coronavirus hits. And so, but right before that, I get a text, or I get a Facebook friend request from the Valley Huskers head coach. And me and him start chatting. And, you know, he's like, I really love how you held contain, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up going there. So then but obviously COVID, so we didn't play football. But I go to a small Bible college, so we still had school. And so I pack my bags, 17-year-old kid, run across Canada to Abbotsford. And I moved over here to pursue becoming a pastor and, playing junior. I ended up only playing 1 year for the Valley, and then school and ministry comes first in my life. So, and I had to do a practicum. And so the only practicum offer I had, at least a paid one, was to work at my home church last summer. So, shed a few tears, thought I was done playing football, and then came home. Some dramatic stuff happened with my mother and my family, and I needed an outlet. And at the time, I had a few teams. I had the only other team in the area come after me, but I said no because at the time I was taking care of my mother. And then it was just right moment, right time. I was talking to Daryl, and you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm going to come out. And so I came out, and I don't regret that decision at all. And I loved playing for the Wolfpack last year. Kind of rejuvenated my love for the game.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's funny that listening to that story, we actually have a lot more in common than I realized. Howie's Aaron's an old friend of mine. I actually went out for Howie when he was head coach of the Valley Huskers, and how he actually beat me in a midget provincial championship game in BC when I was playing for the Mission Niners, and he was the head coach of the Surrey Bears, which is a midget league in Vancouver that I was playing in. So yeah, and then Abbotsford Bible College you went to. I actually lived across the street from Abbotsford Bible College for a year. So I living in Abbey when I was going to be playing for the.
It's called Summit Pacific Bible College now.
Did they change it? Oh yeah.
There's 2 Bible colleges here. So.
Oh, there's 2. Yeah. I lived across from the old one there. I went to a summer camp there one year. Awesome. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. Omari, go ahead with our Wolfpack related questions.
Yeah, I think the big one in the room that I know the Holy Pro wants to hear is, how are we best dealing with some losses from last year? And I think maybe elephant in the room. I know people have seen on Instagram. 2 of our 2 big players, Shaver and Bardo, have done some free agency talks and moved over to the Irish, and everyone now is wondering, what the Wolfpack has left and all that. But I think it's good now that they got a good 4 of us here to talk it over and mention our thoughts to it. Like for me, I always wish the best to those guys, and I still see them quite often. But I think it's just more of a response to now how the league thoughts are on us and everything.
So, what are you looking at this year, Daryl? So, when you look at your team, like, what are you guys looking at for your players you're bringing in, players that you lost? Like, what is your mindset going forward into this year?
Yeah, it's tough anytime you lose players in that, and of course, Vardo was a big loss for us, hands down. Like if he'd have played for us this year, he probably would have had 50 catches, 1,000 yards, and probably would have been in the running for league MVP. Now I think he's going to be lucky if he'll have half those numbers playing for the Irish. The Irish only passed for like 900 yards last year. So how many yards can one guy have out of the 900s they have, right? The rest of the guys, it sucks to lose guys, but to be honest, we're tired of having these wishy-washy guys on our team, the guys with 1 foot in and 1 foot out. A lot of guys tend to think grass is greener on the other side, and they'll get more of an opportunity in another team. When, in all honesty, a lot of these guys are going to go to the Irish, and they're not going to be playing. They might be second or third string guys. They're going to sit on a bench most of the season. And hats off to them if that's what they're looking for. Now, if they don't want to play anymore, but they just want to be a part of something and sit back and watch everybody else play and have success, great. So, we're going to lose guys every year, and it sucks to lose players and that. But in all honesty, a lot of the guys that left, they were a cancer to our team. They were talking about creating their own team halfway through the season, and they always thought the grass was greener on the other side. But now we don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Those guys are on to another team. We don't have to babysit them. We're going to move forward here with guys who are committed, guys who want to be on our team, guys who want to come to practice, who hold themselves accountable, who pay their fees and stuff like that. And that's how we really plan on growing as a team, and that is just get everybody to buy in completely. And, if you come to practice, I truly believe the more you practice, the better you're going to be prepared in game times and that. And we're just tired of babysitting all these guys. And if they want to go play for another team, hats off to them.
Yeah. And I really appreciate your candor there, Daryl, because, and I know I know you're not speaking about me when you talk about cancers on the team that left. I left obviously because I'm for coming back to the Bucks and
you're in a different situation. You're in a different situation than these other guys. But in my 25 years of playing the AFL, I've never once sat at home on the couch on a Tuesday or Thursday night and said, I don't feel like going to practice tonight. No. I enjoy going to practice and that, and just meeting the guys and going out and grabbing a burger with them after.
If I could jump in for a sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I could jump in. Well, one thing that's I think that our league has over the Ontario version of our league is that they do end up with too much player movement, as in it's sort of a, where's everybody going to go this year? And they all sort of reconvene. And we've never really thought that was good for the league. I love the rivalries. I love playing against the same guys who are on another team. And I think about teams that did it right. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say I was happy for you guys when you won in 2020, but I kind of was. Like, obviously, I would have rather it was us, but you guys had stuck together and it was the same guys. And when you guys won, there was meaning to that. It was
Yeah.
like, you won with your brothers, and I was happy for you. Like, your headline was what? Like, how many years were you guys trying to get it?
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
you
my
finally
11th
did.
year. Yeah.
Sure. And you weren't even the oldest vet on the team.
No.
It just, and there's a lot of this comes from just the way we believe in running the Wolfpack. Like, this goes back to, like, we were talking about the Wolfpack way before the Patriots were talking about their way, in that, like Jim Lightfoot would say, like, do you want rental players? Do you want to bring some guy into the locker room, whether you snuck him in, paid him, or stole him from another team? You barely know the guy's name, and then you're celebrating with the guy going, "Hey, what's your name? By the way, we won." Like, it doesn't have the same meaning. And
No.
I know it wouldn't have had the same meaning for you, Buck, if you had, raked the league and got guys to come to your team. And, it's like, well, or if you, heaven forbid, I'm not saying any team would ever do this, but paid some guys to come out and win it for you. I mean, what would be the joy in that, So yeah, we hold no grudges against guys that leave, but that's the nature of the beast. And yeah, like Daryl
Yeah.
said, we want to play with guys that want to play with us, and we'll go forward.
Yeah, and you know what? I really think you nailed it there, Rob, because that's what made winning in 2021 with the Bucks so special. Because, when you look at the core of that team, we're talking about guys that had spent a lot of years, Xavier Lawrence and Brandon Lay and myself and Ben had been there for a couple of years, and we had Ian Keech and we just had a number of Mark Fay of like 5 to 12-year veterans on that team that had made all the sacrifices every year, every summer, in and out, regardless of how good we were, all trying to get to that and break through. And then you finally did. And it was like, I'll never experience that type of feeling. There's a video of me that I have kept private, but I'm going to share shortly here after that game. And I'm kind of walking in a daze when my teammates are celebrating. And I can't even remember. I literally do not remember this moment, but you just see me coming to the screen and I'm looking for my wife and she's looking for me and we can't really find each other. And then eventually she finds me and taps me on the shoulder and I almost like passed out and collapsed into her arms just because it was just so emotional to finally do it and to do it with those people. And, it's always kind of, there's a lot of guys in this league who ring chase, and I won't drop names. And I know I'm supposed to on this podcast, but I also want, don't want to piss too many people off. I want people to listen, but there are people that have jumped from team to team to team and have never won a championship. And I honestly laugh because I'm like, you don't deserve it. And what does it mean if you decide I'm going to take my talents up to Fort Mac because they're building a super team and you win a championship? So what? Like you said, Rob, you don't know any of these people's names. Even when I came with the Wolfpack last year with you guys, I knew so many of you. So winning a championship, if we would have been able to get it done last year, would have meant something to me because I knew you guys from playing together for so long and the commitment. And when we hear people like Daryl saying I'd have bet that Daryl's been to 90% of practices over his year in the AFL. Well, why can't, if Daryl's doing it, he's been the best quarterback to play in our league ever. Why can't everyone? And that frustrates the shit out of me as a person. And I already told my teammates that at our last indoor session. I said, if you're not coming to every practice, or at least if you're not making 75 to 80% of practice, just go home, go away. I don't want you here. I'm not trying to be mean, but like if I, as someone who, and not being too egotistical here, but if someone like myself or someone like Daryl, who has done so much for this league, I don't have anything else to work for. I don't have any more awards to go for. Same with Daryl, but we still show up to practice because we don't think we're better than the game. Why can't everyone else? And so I'm glad that you guys are doing that this year with the Wolfpack, and I hope that you can really find those pieces. So where do you see yourself going from here, Rob, with the Wolfpack?
Yeah. So first off, sorry, I misspoke when I said you guys won in 2020. It was 2021, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I remember. Yeah, just because the missing year. But technically, of course, on the Wolfpack, we say we were 2020 champions, right? Because it's kind of like it's like boxing, right? If you held the belt, we won it in 2019. If no one took it in 2020, it's still our belt. So yeah, we think we repeated. Anyway, moving on. I'm just kidding, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then 2019, I think. Yeah, you guys came really close in 2019. I remember there was a play near the end of the game where one of their guys scored a touchdown and he thought they'd won the game. And then was it Daryl? Then we had the ball with like 2 minutes to go. Do you remember that game, Daryl? You had McMahon?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a long time ago. My memory's
Yeah,
not
who
that-
was it that scored that touchdown
Okay,
for
you
Red
know
Deer? And they
what?
thought
You
they
know
won.
what? You guys are
He had this
fucking
gleam in
assholes.
the eye, and I remember him looking for his
Yeah.
wife in the stands before the
No,
game
you
was
kidding.
over.
You
And I was
fucking
like, you
dick.
should be. Just kidding,
No,
Keith.
okay. No,
Just
listen.
kidding. No. You guys
No,
played
here's the
great.
thing. No. Here's the wonderful thing about that 2019. First of all, I think that 2019 championship game was one of the best ever. And yes, I did score a touchdown, which I thought won us the game with 1 minute left, and then Daryl decided to come down and just stab me in the heart, and which was fine because I'm as terrible as it was that day. That loss in 2019 made 2021 even better. So
For sure. For
yeah.
sure. And I know that the way you guys did it in Red Deer, doing it the right way with the natural progression of guys coming and going, that made it special for all your alumni that I
Mhm.
played against. Like, I know they were all in the stands and they were
Oh
all
yeah.
going nuts. Like, they all felt a part of it. They weren't
Yeah.
like, who's that guy? Where'd that guy come from? Ah, he just moved here from, we stole him from, Adam. So
Yeah.
anyways, well, I mean, Daryl and I aside, the team has gotten a lot younger. Last year, it was shockingly young. Players coming up to me going, I can't be at practice Thursday. I'm like, why? They go, well, I've got grad. And I'm like, what are you graduating from? And they're like, well, Wisewood or whatever. I was like, you're in high school? Like, we have a young team. I mean, Josh, how old are you, Josh? He may have gone to bed. He's young. Josh, how old are
I'm
you?
20. Hey.
Josh is 20. Yeah.
I am.
So,
I
like-
am a youth. At the moment, I am working
Yes.
at a church as a interim pastor. Okay, I'm 20, but I'm not young. Okay,
Right.
calm down.
Sure, if you say so. So yeah, so
Also, let's watch the.
we have gotten a lot younger, and that's kind of our goal is to, again, get long-term guys that are going to be the vets that you want to build around, right?
Yeah.
So we've been, doing lots of recruiting, and of course we're not as public with who we have because we don't want any unnamed teams phoning them. But
Mhm.
but yeah, no, that's our goal is to keep getting younger and build for the future and eventually replace old guys like us. Because but on the average, we got a lot younger last year. So
to add to your point, Sherman, too, of keeping things not as a public, 'cause I know every team likes to do the postings and signings and everything. I think I mentioned this in the chats where I've tell guys like I've kept the announcement side of like signings to where you'll get that post when you start showing up and have that consistency to come to practice. And not that we aren't going to do the announcement signings, but I feel like I want it to be something too where guys show up, for a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Then we start announcing, and then it rolls into the season. So for those who are listening, like that's kind of the plan we have, where you show up, you make a great impression, show that you're consistent, and then you'll see that post come up because I know everyone loves to have that gratification on social media and everything. So just so everyone knows for what to expect there.
Mm-hmm. Daryl, I want to ask you this, and I've asked you this personally, but I want to ask you this publicly as well. What is keeping you going? Like, what is your motivation as someone who has literally won every award, 4 national championships? What you can say your age if you want. I don't even know, but obviously you're not a young pup anymore. But what is your motivation? Like, what makes you keep wanting to come to the practices, come to games, and keep putting on that jersey?
Right. Great question. It's probably changed over the years. When I was younger, you wanted to go out there and compete and win and run over guys and do all kinds of crazy stuff in that. But these last couple of years, it's just to sit back and enjoy it, right? I love going to practice. I love throwing the football around. I love throwing on the pads and throwing a touchdown to my teammates and stuff like that, eh? Just to be able to go out there and share that field with them for that few hours and then go out and celebrate after, means more than anything these days, right? There's still a little bit of fire down there. It's hard to give it up. I look at it like a hockey player now. Can go out and play professional hockey. Then when he retires, he can come back and there's always all kinds of leagues around Calgary and Alberta here where they can go and play somewhat competitive hockey. But football is different. Once you stop playing tackle football, whether it be pro or university or junior, you have limited options. You have the AFL and that's it, right? And I'm glad I was able to play for so long. I enjoy it. Every winter I think, well, is this the last year? Am I done? The motivation's a little gets a little harder every year, but every springtime, when it comes time to football season, everybody else is throwing the football around. I want to be out there on the field and talking to guys, meeting guys, and just throwing a football around, right? There's no better feeling than that, right?
Yeah, so it's purely for the love of the game for you, which is just obviously amazing. And I saw that last year, and seeing the work that you put in, and the taking the beating, even coming off your injury. And speaking of your injury, how are you doing these days? How's the leg coming? How's your arm feeling? 2021. Just kind of briefly explain what happened to your leg, and then kind of how you're feeling today.
Yeah, 21 was a little bit of a setback. It was right after the COVID year, which I really, to be quite honest, I really enjoyed having the year off, and that I got to go home and spend some time with family and friends of that, and go fishing and hunting and camping, just things that I never got to do for past 35 years. So that was one thing about COVID. It was kind of great in that. And then when we started playing in 2021 again, I got into the second game of the season, and I haven't run very much these last few years in that. And it's not that I don't enjoy running the football anymore. It's just that when we have a bunch of other athletes, my job is to get them the ball and let these guys make some moves and make themselves look good out there in that. And I remember a certain coach came up to me, a player coach, I can't remember any names or anything like that, but he said, you haven't really run it much this year. Maybe you should think about running a little bit. And I'm like, back of my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'll give it Rob. And so lo and behold, they call quarterback sneak, and I get some shitty ass blocking.
I didn't say start running the ball up. I said, first off, I said call a QB draw. I didn't say stumble forward and run into like your lineman and then roll over.
Yeah, anyway. That's because of the blocking by Josh, who's now with Airdrie, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, just got a shitty block from Josh. Not the Josh E, but the other Josh, Airdrie Josh, we'll call him. Shitty block from him, and his guy ended up falling on my leg.
As long as you didn't mention any names. Yeah, keep going.
Breaking my leg, and it was a long recovery. I spent 5 months on crutches. I still limped for the first year after that. I probably shouldn't have played last year at all. Yeah, I was able to stand and throw the ball, and for a quarterback, that's probably sometimes 95% of the game. If you look at Patrick Mahomes in that second half of that and the final there, once he was limping and he couldn't run at all he did is stood there and threw the ball. Right, did his job until the end when he had to scramble for about 30 yards there. But I've had some of my best games. In fact, playing against Red Deer one year, way back, I sprained my knee. I think on the first or second series, came out for a series, and then after that, I literally just stood back there and threw the ball and just got rid of it quickly. Made my reads in that, and probably played the best game of my life, even though I couldn't run the ball in that. So last year was a tough year for me. Just because I had a lot of highs and a lot of lows and stuff like that. It wasn't used to not being able to move the pocket and run around in that. But having said that, I still led the league in yards, touchdown passes, completions, all those other stuff. So this year I'm going to be better. I've been in the gym kind of the last 6 months here, once or twice a week, working on my leg strength and that. And I'm by no means 100%. I might never be 100%, but I'm going to be more mobile this year than I was last year. I'm going to be able to move the pocket a little bit, do some rollouts and that. And who knows, and maybe I'll take off on the quarterback draw.
Those quarterback draws are deadly, though. That's why I have some nightmares of you taking quarterback draws when we think we've got everyone covered. And you know what? You did lead the league in yards last year, and it was quite impressive, not just because of your injury, but because of the fact that we kind of had a ragtag crew of dudes coming in and out of there. I was there and Varda was there. Obviously we have some talent, but I mean, obviously I couldn't make any practices. So you and I, our only connection was actually playing against each other, but we actually had a really good connection once we got on the same team. And then Varda was improving as the year went along, and then we lost Alex and we lost Aaron, and we still somehow were able to, we went into Cold Lake and, put 2 touchdowns on them, and they were holding teams to 0 all year long. Right. So I think that team last year for the Wolfpack, had we been fully healthy with all our receivers, I think we could have won it if we had it. Cause the offense was pretty potent, even though we were pretty predictable as far as like who we were getting the ball to. It was coming to me or it was coming to Vardo. We couldn't really run the ball too well. Our offensive line was, not super. So we weren't like, complicated, but we still did a lot of good things. And it's unfortunate we couldn't have been fully healthy, because if we would have had myself and Omari and Vardo and Alex and Aaron, like that's pretty good.
Yeah, offensively, you've hit the nail right on the head. Is we can compete with anybody, and I think on any given day, we're one of the few teams that match up with anybody, and we always give ourselves a chance against some of these so-called elite teams, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I love the shade you're throwing at Airdrie, though. It's good. I'll say this too, right? Like I'm disappointed with some of the moves I'm seeing from the Wolfpack to the Irish, and I think you're right. And if someone's feelings are hurt by this, that's fine. But there's going to be a lot of people that moved from the Pack to the Irish that aren't going to play and are going to be bitter and upset, and who knows what ends up happening to them. So, but all I'll say to them is don't accept them back because they made their decision. So they got to live with that from now on. Omar, you got anything for these guys?
Yeah, I wanted to just dive into a bit of with Josh here. I know one thing, I think if you look at our social media, you see our workout videos, and I know there's a lot of guys make jokes saying it's either me or Josh and everything, but just with Josh with you being on the younger side of everything, I know for you now, you still have that time to where you can, go to school, go to your internship and train everything. What's kind of been your expectation and focus this off season for you, coming into the second AFL season? Because, in this league, there's some guys who have work and maybe can't focus in the gym, but with you being a younger guy and still being in the gym, what are some things that you're focusing on?
Man, I'm just trying to focus on being better. Obviously, I came from junior, right? And I feel like, at least for me, I'm a little, I have high expectations. I'm not exactly 100% happy with the way I performed last year. I want to be better, right? I started 3 games in junior before I came out here, the season prior. So I have that experience. But something that I've done that is underrated that I think is going to help me a lot is I coached. I coached for a local high school team this past school year. I coached for Robert Bateman Secondary, which they are a top tier AA BC football program. And I learned so much. There's a saying that you learn while you teach. And while I poured into the students of the game who I'm hoping become, or the people who I hope to become students of the game, I taught myself in a way too. You know what I mean by that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I completely get you with that.
And so obviously I'm in the gym. Obviously I'm doing the same thing that I've been doing since I was 14. But the thing for me is I'm 20 now. Okay. I've been playing this game for, albeit not at the highest levels, for how many years now? We'll just say 5 or 6 years now. So I'm going into this season and I'm hoping to know more. I'm hoping to read better, right? I'm hoping to be in better position when I make blocks this year. And honestly, a comment, I know our offensive line wasn't the best, but I want our offensive line to be the best. Obviously, being the center, I'm the anchor. And for me, I want us to be the best we can be. And hearing stuff about Daryl's leg and all that kind of stuff, I want to make sure Daryl's safe. That's my job. And whoever our running back is, they have to be safe. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I absolutely get you with that. And I always like hearing, and my other follow-up question for you there, Josh, too, is what did you notice coming from a junior league, where, as a young and flying around to now AFL, where I like to tell players when you come to AFL, you're going to feel man strength. You're going to be going against guys who just have that man power, dad power coming in. What did you notice being a young guy?
Oh, yeah. It's a different league. It's not, and I hate when people say, oh, it's a lower level, because truth be told, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think it is, there's still that difficulty, man. My welcome to the siege. I'll tell you my both welcome to the league stories. My welcome to the CJFL moment. 5'7" Joshy gets his first start at right guard for the Valley Huskers, and we play Okie. Okay, they got a 6'7", 200 close to 300-pound defensive tackle, and he's 23 on his last year of eligibility, and I'm 18. I'm going, what did I get myself into? But you know what? I don't care. I do my job, right? And then, next year, obviously, I come over to you guys, and I'm like, obviously, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh, it's just a men's league. It's whatever. My first game was against Cold Lake. And like I played. You guys put me at right tackle, and I was like, okay, this is easy. And then Eddie goes down, and I have to go play center. I forgot who that big dude was, but bro, he was big. Like, I was talking to Daryl after the game, and Daryl's like, "Yeah, I think he played in the CFL." And I'm like, "No S word, he played in the CFL." like I'm not like I was a knight. I take the bull by its horn. You know, I love that because it makes me better. Because I'm a young kid and I can soak all this stuff in. You know, how can I make myself better? Obviously, I don't love losing. I hate losing, but I love learning.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes you a good coach there. And another Abbotsford connection, Robert Bateman. I actually went to WJ Mowat out there in Abbotsford. WJ Mowat Hawks, shout out any WJ Mowat Hawks alumni listening to the podcast. Yeah, that's, you know what, Josh, and I noticed about you when I met you last year is just your energy is off the charts. And I mean that in a good way. Sometimes people's energy can be off the charts and it's like a bad way, but your energy was always really good and positive. And, you know, my first day walking into the locker room, like I knew people knew who I was, and I obviously knew Daryl and Rob, but I was pretty nervous. And I think you were one of the first people to be like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And you just made me feel right at home. So I appreciate that energy, man. And it's contagious. And I know that the kids you coach are definitely appreciate and love that energy as well.
I got another question here I want to follow up. This is going to be for Daryl and Sherman, and maybe more Sherman here, but you know, Sherman, I know you've been in the league for a long time, and just something that I've noticed just from my time here, but you want to add your history to it. But every year it seems to be like a new group or a new team wanting to come in and, you know, kind of replace the pack. Why do you think that is like a tendency in the league or here in Calgary? I know there's a Gators for a while. I feel like that was a separate situation. I wasn't around for it. But do you think people have a hard time accepting the rich history of the Wolfpack?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's a really good question. But for those who don't know, like a bit of history, we've been around for a long, long time, and that's why we try to stay the course and don't panic when there is player movement or when, as you said, someone's trying to sort of, take our place and stuff. Like way back in the day, where guys would worry because a team called the Calgary Cowboys were trying to take our players. And then Daryl will tell you after we won in '99, a big split happened and a bunch of guys started a new team called the Calgary Thunder. And if you haven't heard of them, well, there you go. So they took a bunch of our guys. Our first game against them in 2000, they sent 7 captains to the meeting, and they were all Wolfpack guys. And we had a rivalry against them, and they eventually disintegrated and fell apart. Like, we just don't think that's the best way to build a team, right? And then, of course, when the big split happened, when the Irish were formed, and that's when we lost a bunch of players. Then we lost a bunch to the Gators again, and people said, well, the Wolfpack's done, and well, we rebuilt, and next thing you know, we're winning it again, and Airdrie still hasn't, and the Gators aren't around anymore. Like, I mean, we take it as sort of a compliment that teams want to try to attack the most established team, right? I think it's us, and then how long's Red Deer been up there?
Since 2002. 2002 was our first year.
You guys would be the second longest team, but after that, we don't have a team that's been around. Who is it after that? Fort Mac, even? Like, there's not a lot of teams that have been around.
You know what? I think it's Fort Mac. I think 2014 was Fort. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And that's our point, right? Like, we've literally been around since the 80s, and some, the shot against us is, I mean, they look at Daryl and I, and they're like, oh, they're a bunch of old guys, and we're not, or they just want to do things the old way, and we don't. But we've learned that the worst way to build a team is to get a bunch of guys and make promises and gather a bunch of people together from other teams, and then they don't play together all that great necessarily. They usually don't win, and then the team folds. So, and then guys will come to me or Daryl, go, hey, we've got some great ideas to how to run the team. Oh, well, maybe you do, but we kind of want to make sure this goes, because the only person I've met in my life that's close to being as competitive as me as Daryl is Daryl. I like winning and I hate losing, and I love this team and I love the league, and I just don't want to see our team ever not be in the league. And so long term, that's why we don't partake in the signing of guys from other teams and stuff. We just want to keep our team going and win and keep winning. So yeah.
Rob, what year did the Pack come into the AFL?
If I remember correctly, I think it was 87.
Okay, yeah.
Before me, my first year was 92. No, sorry, 93. 93 was my first year.
So this was something I've actually never thought about, and my mind is actually kind of blown right now. I'm just writing this down. And so, yes, so it's the Pack came in 1987. The Bucks came in 2002, but then it's Fort Mac in 2014, Airdrie in 2015, the Jets in 2019, the Elite in 2021, and then Grand Prairie last year. So that is actually crazy. And through, I came in this league 2010, and then there was obviously the Gators, Lloydminster, the Lloydminster Vandals, and then the St. Albert Stars came in, and they're gone. So, wow, that's mind blowing to think about that. And the Pack 1987 and the Bucks 2002, and the Bucks almost lost it in 2010. So a lot of people don't know this, but Dave Haney, excuse me. Dave Haney, who founded the Bucks, and I think he was a part of the Calgary Thunder too. But he founded the Bucks in 2002, and in 2010 he moved away to Medicine Hat, and the Bucks almost folded then. They legit almost folded, and fortunately people were able to work it out. But yeah, that's cool. And I'm glad you guys have taken that attitude. So yeah, Omari, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. And I think it's, you want for guys who are new to the league or looking for places, or those who are in Calgary, it's nice to know that there's a established team will be around for a while. And I know leading into our next thing, then I guess what's kind of our expectations and strengths heading into 2023 season. Daryl, I know you feel good coming to this year. Josh, I know we've been preparing. Rob, I know we got some ideas on how you want to help things run smoother and get the team more organized. But, I know I have my thoughts here, and I feel like I can always share them on the podcast. But Daryl, Josh, Sherman wants to go first and to kind of share what they're excited for the 2023 season.
Well, when do you guys go first? I've been yakking for a while there. So you go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, go ahead, Daryl.
What the open's going to look like?
Yeah, you know what? Put it this way: I'm strengths. I'm going to be better than I was last year, and that's going to be a big part of our offense here. Whether we're going to obviously have a bunch of new guys, at receiver and stuff like that, but it all starts with me, right? So I promise I'm going to be better than I was last year. And considering how I played last year, I still led the league in passing and in almost every category, including interceptions. But that's one of the ones I want to work on this year. I'm going to be able to step up in the pocket and that, so hopefully I can hang on to the ball a little longer and not get rid of the ball, be so antsy in the pocket this year. Looking to improve on, again, it comes down to commitment stuff side of things. Now we want guys that are going to come to practice. We want guys that are going to hold themselves accountable, who want to make themselves and other people around them better players and better teammates in that. Offensively, Josh is going to anchor our line there. And we've got 4 or 5 guys returning, and we've added a couple new guys to that offensive line there. So I expect our offensive line to be head and shoulders better than it was last year. We've got rid of some of the guys that were kind of the whiners last year, and now guys that complained about playing time and didn't want to come to practice and didn't want to pay their fees and stuff like that. So those guys are gone. So now that you don't have to babysit those guys, it just takes loads of pressure off of that. So we're excited about this upcoming season. Can't wait to get out there and start chucking the ball around.
Rob.
Well put. So, Daryl, you've been working on catching high snaps too, right? You've been I sent you those receiver gloves, right?
Well, hopefully I don't have to this year, right, Josh?
Okay.
Well, bro, why y'all trying to do me dirty like this, bro?
You're young, man. That's it.
Well, Josh, I think I was sacked 6 or 7 times last year, and 5 of them were bad snaps, so it went over my head.
Yeah.
See what I did there? I didn't mean to stir that up there. I apologize.
It's okay. Bring
Yeah,
him down to earth a
similar to
little
what
bit.
Daryl said. Yeah, we want to get more consistency at practice, and again, build that core. Yeah, I think we're going to be stronger on offense. It looks like we're going to be stronger on defense. So yeah, I mean, we wish we had Teach back, of course, but we understand because that makes sense, and got to go where you can get more practice time in and all that. But that, to be honest, I'd say you were the biggest loss of the season in that, like, for those who don't know, like, he was just Iron Man old school for us last year, playing both ways. We had a lot of guys who, when they were there, did the same, right? Like Gretzky played both ways and specials on top of that. But yeah, you logged a lot of snaps for us last year. So yeah, so we're looking to pick
I
up
appreciate that.
the slack at the skill positions, and yeah, so we're looking forward to a strong season. We open June 3rd against Fort Mac here in Calgary. So yeah, hope
That
to see
should be
all of our
good.
fans out there. And
Yeah, that should be a good one for you guys, actually. That should be a good first game. Josh, your thoughts on that? What are you looking forward to this season? What do you think the team's looking like? What do you think they need to do?
What am I looking forward to? Okay. I'm looking forward to just another year. I think that every day that you can wake up and play football, it's a blessing. And obviously I had a bunch of my, I'm going to be honest, like these guys, like there's two guys who are either going to Airdrie or another team who I've been playing football with since like I was 15 years old, and I've been playing with them. I played a year with them in spring, and then I played against them all throughout high school, and it was really cool to be their teammate. And I was like, walking into this year, I was excited to be their teammate, and then we're going to go. And for me, I've never played for myself. For me, I played high school football for Forest Lawn. I wouldn't, if I was playing for myself, I wouldn't have played there. I always play for the name on the chest, the Wolfpack, and the people who are beside me. And so I'm sticking. And I'm excited to learn. Like you said earlier, Darrell Leeson is the Tom Brady of this league, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. And what comes with that is there's going to be so much IQ, so much I can pick up. And like he likes to take little cheap shots and jabs at me. But you know what? What's funny enough is he's actually old enough to be my dad, if we're being honest.
Well, it just means he likes you, man. If he's taking shots at you, it means he likes you.
I know.
Having said that, maybe we can recruit your dad out here then.
Oh, okay. Calm down.
Mr. Yee, if you're listening, come on and play for Darrell.
Wow. But you got to mention that Darrell actually has grandkids. You got to throw that in if you're trying to tease him about his age.
He's a grandpa too. Yeah.
Hey, I wonder if we have any other grandpas in the AFL. If you were a grandpa and you were currently playing in the AFL, I want to hear from you. I want to know.
Not selling the league.
Is Darrell the only? Well, I mean, it sells the league to grandpas. And Darrell's still putting up huge numbers. So I don't know. Maybe it gives hope to grandpas.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm older than Darrell, but have no kids. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Whoa, this just got deep real fast. But I'm excited, and I've worked my tail off this off season, and I always work my tail off every off season. But I'm excited. I'm excited to get the pads on. I'm excited to take what I've learned from coaching, what I've learned just from this year, and apply it, and I'm not going to lie. I was disappointed when we lost to Cold Lake, and maybe I'm the only one who had belief that we could beat Cold Lake, but man, I'm not going to say I thought we were going to win, but there was a part of me that thought we were going to win last year.
I thought we were going to win, but I think I'm going to win every game I play, man.
Yeah, and that's the way every athlete should be.
Yeah.
But this year, what I love, and I absolutely love this, is that everyone's counting us out. And if you know me, you know my story. I've been an underdog my whole life. There's a reason I didn't go to Langley. There's a reason I didn't leave Forest Lawn. Is because I love proving people wrong. And I'm so excited for the opportunity to do that this year. And I'm so excited to play and learn from Darrell Leeson. And man, I drive home on the 28th. At 4 a.m. I leave Abbotsford. And I'm so excited to get back to Calgary. Man,
Yeah.
words can only describe it.
Yeah, and it's coming up, right? Like the weather's getting good. I golfed yesterday for the first time this year. Like it's coming and it's coming fast. I want to, so I'm gonna ask Daryl a question and Rob a question here. Now I'll ask Rob first, but Daryl, I'll give you the question because I didn't give you the heads up on this. So I'll give you a little bit of time to think about. But so Daryl, I want to know your best, greatest story in your AFL career, whether it be a road trip, game, whatever. So I'll give you some time to think about that here. Your best AFL story. It can be the one that means the most to you, whatever you think. Rob, we'll start with you while Daryl thinks about that. What does the AFL mean to you as someone who's been around for so long, been on the same team? You've been through ups and downs and people trying to cancel your team and get rid of your team, and you've been on the board. You've been a huge part of this league, a mainstay in this league. And how has that impacted your life, and what has the AFL meant to you?
Well, great question. It's meant a ton. It's when we do, the AGMs and stuff. I like the executive that we have now. I really get the feeling that when the guys are voting, that a lot, in the past, sometimes teams would just vote for their own self-interest. But I really think we have a good group now that wants to grow the league and keep the league strong. The AFL's been amazing. Like, what a blessing. There's no, I can't think of another league that has what we have, or even in other sports that, you got guys playing at a high level, the competitiveness, and just meeting guys from all over the province that are as passionate about football as we are down here, and building those rivalries and seeing the same guys year after year. It's just been amazing. Being able to, I feel very, very, very blessed and very grateful for the number of years I've been able to take part in this league, and all the memories and the teams that we've played against and the rivalries, and it's just fantastic. So it's the AFL has been just awesome, and it's too bad they don't have one of these in every province. It's too bad they don't have a similar thing going on in BC or Saskatchewan. Because what we have here is very unique. It's very different from any other.
Actually, it's lucky
league.
for you guys that there isn't one here in BC, because
okay, John. Sure. But yeah, so the AFL is just a blessing. It's just been awesome, and I think it's just been fantastic to find out that there's guys all over in all these towns that love football, and those of you listening, you love football. You know that there really is no substitute. I mean, you can go play touch, you can go play flag. It's not the same. I've tried those. So have you guys. No. Yes, they can be fun, but no, it's not the same feeling at kickoff. It's not the same feeling before the game. It's just not. I haven't found anything that is even close to it. I think it's the best game. And,
you are. That is the most correct thing anyone's ever said in the history of the world. There is just nothing like it. There's nothing, and I can't even sometimes put this into words, right? Like the feeling the night before the game, the morning of the game, driving to the game, pregame warm up, kickoff, the anthem, the butterflies. Are we kicking off or are we returning? Like all the stuff that goes into football games is just you just can't get it anywhere. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing, what level. You just nothing compare, and it's addictive. And Daryl touched on it earlier in the podcast of why he's continuing to play all these years with nothing left to prove to anybody, and purely because of the love of the game and because it's kind of scary to have a life without football. And I think a lot of us struggle. And the fact that the AFL is here and the AFL gives people the opportunity to continue doing something that you cannot match anywhere else in the world, and to be able to have that opportunity from people that are middle-aged people to people that are 20 years old like Josh, who's really appreciating the league and furthering the league, and these are the people at the future of the league, and it's just it's incredible. And I know we talk about that a lot on this podcast, how incredible the league is and how lucky we are, and I hope people really appreciate that through all the shit talking and all the kind of snake behavior that can kind of go on behind the scenes of switching teams and stuff like that. Like it is all still a really wonderful opportunity to have those opportunities. So, Daryl, greatest story. Did you think about it?
Well, put me on the spot here. You know what?
I did.
I've got a lot of stories. I can't remember most of them, but there's 2 or 3 that kind of stand out, and they're just short stories here. And I think one of them that really jumps out at me was in 2003 with the Calgary Wolfpack. We went down and we played the Oakville Longhorns. And for those that don't know, the Oakville Longhorns, they were stacked with CIS players, CFL players, and they even had some NFL players on that team. They had a 73-game winning streak going for them. And we went in there and we beat them in 2003. And I remember we just played phenomenal that first half and jumped out to the lead, and we were just able to hang on to that lead for the rest of the game in that. But that was almost the destruction of the Oakville Longhorns because they were so dominant in the Ontario Football League after that. And after that, players started going to different teams like Milton and Tri-City and stuff like that. And every couple of years you had a new team. But yeah, to beat that team in 2003 with the team that we had was just incredible. And just one of those great stories, and that it's like the little engine that could, right? You just keep.
And I don't not to step on Daryl's story or to jump in, but I don't know how many kilometers Daryl has thrown for in the league, but I've been there for all of them, and that game might be the best game. I hate to give Daryl compliments, so I wish he would get off the line, but that might be the best game I've seen anybody play at any position was Daryl in that game in 2003. The context also is that they'd beaten us the previous 2 years. So this is our third year going to meet in the same team, and people were already talking about, well, is this national championship worth it if Oakville's just going to win every year? And yeah, that was the great underdog story. And again, Daryl had them. They were stunned at the show he put on that day. The number of times they were sure they had him down, and you heard the defense whooping like, we got him, we finally sacked him. And then out of nowhere, the ball would just fly out of this pack of people 30 yards downfield, kind of like Eli Manning, and hit his brother in stride. Like it was, that was probably the best I've ever seen Daryl play, and I've seen Daryl play some great games.
Was that at their home field too, hey?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was in Oshawa.
Wow.
That's where it was, Oshawa, yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, thanks, Rob, for that. The other one, I guess it's not really a story, but anytime you win a championship, it's memorable. I've been fortunate enough to win about 7 national championships and a couple provincial titles in high school and that. So obviously 9 times at the highest level. You've won the very last game. There's no more games.
Yeah.
So that's always a special feeling. It's to win that with a group of guys. It's something that no one could ever take away from you, right? You're champions. You will forever be champions in that. And so that's always special.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, probably one of the biggest things in my life is when the Regina Rams joined the university ranks. I was with the Calgary Dinos still, and then when they joined the university ranks, they went 0-8 their very first year, and that's when I decided I was going to go back. Me and Mike decided we were going to go back and play for the Rams. I'd played 4 years junior there, had a great relationship with all the coaches, and still played with some of the players that were on that team and that. So to take a team that was 0-8 before, and they literally only added me and Mike and maybe 1 or 2 old linemen in that, and to take that team to the Vanier Cup in only their second year of existence in the CIS was pretty outstanding. Now, we didn't win the game. We've fell a little bit short, 42-39. We lost to the Ottawa GGs.
Wow.
Yeah, so we lost by 3 points. They blocked a field goal, halfway through the fourth quarter, which ended up being the difference. But to give you an example of how good that Ottawa team was, that Ottawa team had only given up 52 points the entire season.
Wow.
And we went in there and dropped 39 points on them in the Vanier Cup and that. So although we didn't win, it was still a journey that that helped take an 0-8 team in their second year existence to the Vanier Cup and come within inches of winning the Vanier Cup. So it's the one that got away, but it's definitely the one that sticks in my mind probably the most.
Yeah, and isn't that what's so powerful about football and about sports, I guess, in general, is that I'm kind of the same way. Like I said, that loss in 2019 in the finals, the loss in 2016 in the finals, that they do stick out in your memory, and somehow they become not fully positive, but they take some positive nature to them. So, and memories and stuff like that. And I think that's really important. And I know you've won a lot of championships in your life, and I'm sure you want to win more, and it never really gets old. And we're all just trying to truck along and keep winning. And so, I appreciate that, Daryl. That's cool. So I do have a question though. So you played, I'm a little confused how this worked out. So you played for the Regina Rams as in the CJFL?
junior football for 4 years, and then I signed with the Eskimos after that, and then I left them, and that's when I went and played university for the Dinos for 3 years.
Oh, okay. So what did the Regina Rams junior team just become the university team? Like, Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had won. I think they'd been to 5 or 6 championships in a row and won like 4 to 5 or something like that. So they just felt that there was not a whole lot for them to accomplish in the junior ranks anymore. So they wanted a different challenge, not a better challenge, but a different challenge. And they decided it was time to make the jump to university football, and it was a great jump for them. And they're definitely a strong team in the Canada West year after year.
Yeah, and Mike was your brother, right? You'd mentioned Mike. Yeah. So, and he played on the Wolfpack with you for at least a couple of years. I know that.
Yeah, we played.
Time, yeah.
We played Rams. We played Dinos together. We played, Wolfpack and that. So,
but he's not still going, eh?
What's that?
He's not still going.
No, it's tough. He lived in Regina for a good chunk of those, and it's like you living out of town. It's kind of tough. And, you don't get to practice. Slowly, your skills start to diminish a little bit. But he would make the trip up on weekends and stuff like that, and we'd play. And because we've been playing together for so long, and that it was just like second nature to throw the ball to him and find him and stuff like that. But eventually his own son got into playing and he got into coaching and that, and it just took too much time away from him to travel to Calgary to play men's football. So
I remember my first year in 2010, and you guys completed like 5 to 10 yard outs, like 17 of them in that game, and it was just I was so frustrated because you kept throwing it down and away, and I was like, I can't get there. Mike's the only one that can get there, and it's perfect every fucking time. And it was so. And then you looked at me. You probably don't remember this, Daryl, but I looked at you. It was like the 17th time that you threw the same fucking route, and it just my first year as a DB, and I couldn't get that, and I knew it was coming, and you're like, down and away, kid. Down and away. And I'm like, okay. And I have never forgotten that. Anytime anyone says down and away, I just get these fucking nightmares about that one fucking pattern in one game.
Yeah, Mike's a great possession receiver in that, and he always goes down to the ground and makes the catch in that. He's not worried about getting yaks after the yards. He just line up. We'll do it again. We'll do it again and again. Right? Yeah,
repetitive. Omari, you got anything?
No, I think that's all the questions. From me, I feel like preparing for this podcast. I was like, I am an active Wolfpack player, so I'm just like, okay, like, how do I want to approach this? But I feel like I wanted to make sure at least all of us had a chance to let our voices be heard. And I know this offseason's been trying, so it's nice to allow our voices to be heard and let the league know where we're at, and just know not to count us out. But I mean, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Is what it is. But I know myself, other guys on the team, the new guys we're bringing in, we'll all be ready to put some work in and redefine the culture to make sure that it's a healthy one moving forward. So, I'm just looking forward to seeing what my role will be with the team, and if I'm going to be more RB focused, more receiver focused, and going from there.
Daryl, Josh, Rob, you got anything you want to say? Finish it off.
No, just again, we're doing a workout for those listening. Friday, what time we starting, Omari?
6 o'clock on Friday. Yes, we're going to be having a team workout. Nice thing in Calgary here, all the snow's gone, so we're going to get a chance to get outdoors. Give me a team workout. I'm gonna be the one probably leading it here, just to where we're going to get a chance to get the new guys out, get everyone running, and I want to make it definitely more fundamentally based on some skills. And I'm going to be bringing some drills I do from Raw here for the young kids, but allowing everybody on the same page and collaborate and come together and really build a strong community. And then I know, Rob, the week after that, that's where we'll start, installing and putting stuff in for the upcoming game. But snow's gone, so it's time to get out. So, for those who've inquired about playing for the Wolfpack, you guys should expect to email, DM, a call here. Just wanted to confirm details. We're here to help we're here to help anyone who needs assistance in getting anything for the field stuff. So I think I've plugged that enough. But yeah, any other plugs you want to add in, guys, on the Wolfpack side?
No, that was good.
Yeah, we're a good group. Obviously we don't know everyone. We don't know everyone who's coming back. But what I will say about the few people that I know who are coming. Okay, I shouldn't say the few. The people who are coming back is we're a good group. And if you want to be a part of a family, if you want to be a part of a team and a part of a group of brothers, we're your best bet. And if you want to see the field this year, yeah, because we are a young team. There is no job that is locked down, probably other than Daryl's. I know that I'm for my job, day in and day out. And so if you want to come, you want to ball, you want to be a part of a brotherhood, roll perps. Actually, wear purple. Yeah, there we go. That's probably more better.
Yeah. Daryl, you got anything?
You know what? It's exciting. Anytime you start a new football season, you don't know what to expect in that. People have counted us out numerous times in that. I think we're going to surprise a few people. And if we get in that playoffs, look out, because we're dangerous and you never know what can happen.
Yeah, and
Well
I agree with you fully. And I know from my experience going to the Pack last year, I absolutely loved it. I felt incredibly welcomed. I felt like instantly like a part of the team, and even my wife noticed. I struggled last year at the beginning of the year. I went to Edmonton originally and absolutely hated it for a number of different reasons, and I actually thought about just not playing at all. I was pretty miserable, and then I came to you guys, and it kind of relit my fire, and you guys welcomed me and treated me really well, and allowed me to be me and allowed me to play and contribute, and I'll always be grateful to you, Daryl, and to you, Rob, for talking to me and convinced me to come out there and be a part of it, and just I never felt like I didn't fit in, and giving me the opportunity to play. So I thank you guys for that. I thank you for the opportunity to play with you and to put on that jersey of a team that's been around since 1987, even though Omari wouldn't let me have number 5. I felt like I looked all right in number 22. I do wish you guys all the best this year. I look forward to playing you, I think, in the Bucks' third game of the year or something like that. So it'd be good to see you guys. And thank you for taking the time to do this podcast. And if anyone wants to come play, if you're around the Calgary area, Airdrie has about 70 dudes now. So if you want to play, I would suggest going to the Wolfpack and playing with one of the legendary players in our league and some really good people. So Omari, send us out.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate everyone tuning in. For those who feel free to leave us a like, a comment, subscribe here. I know we're going to be on YouTube here. Give us a like on Apple Music. Give us a rating here. Definitely helps Algorithm push us up here and bring the AFLU more exposure. Looking forward to the next episode here. We're I think days away from 2 months away from the season beginning. So I know things are starting to heat up. Snow's starting to melt. People starting to get outside and, install outfits and defenses and hype up. And I think people aren't yet ready at that point where they're tired of hitting their own teammates. But, that time will soon be upon us, and then for week 1 and go away from there. But appreciate everyone tuning in. And you can find us on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, any of your platforms that you guys get your local podcast from.
Perfect. Thanks everyone coming. We'll have the podcast out hopefully sometime tomorrow.
Right on.
All right.